I think the most important thing about a family-run business, especially when you compare it with public companies, is we can take the long-term view. We're always thinking not next week, next year, but most of our planning is in a 5-year cycle, and particularly in agriculture, because it never is consistent. You can't predict the next season. So you've got to have that capability of looking out the long term, and taking that long term view is very much sort of thing that family businesses do better than public companies, where they're sort of important to respond to the market on almost a daily basis. Being involved in a family business has been trading for 126 years, has a lot of responsibility, because people expect you to do a good job, and you must always do excellent work, both within the company and outside the company. So there's a real focus, and you actually, as an individual, you wear part of that brand day in and day out, which is a responsibility, but can also be a lot of fun, particularly in the wine industry. Change in our industry is endless, and it's on many fronts, but perhaps here at Celador, the biggest change is that people used to come here to buy wine, but now they come here to have an experience, which means you actually have to give people opportunity to have wine and food. You have to be able to give people an in-depth experience which goes beyond just tasting and buying wine. In the world of export, the growth is now very much centred on what's happening in Asia, and we're seeing enormous chance, enormous opportunity for growing our business, particularly in China. One of the failings of the Australian wine industry over the years, particularly in export, is we've targeted the lower end of the market. And the only way to really succeed in business is to build a brand. And building a brand is where people actually buy into something more than price. They're buying into the image, they're buying into the position. And anybody who goes into the export market and thinks they're going to be the cheapest is going to end in tears. Winemaking has really changed over time through technology and equipment. You know, hand harvesting is now replaced by mechanical harvesting. Fermentation is now controlled by refrigeration. So there's wonderful new technology available to make wine even more perfect. And but it's still an artisan. You still have to have that personal touch. You still have to actually make the decision when the fermentation stops or starts, and all that is still very much in place. The science has just made it a bit more manageable. Challenges we've faced in the business sense of Brown Brothers is the fact that the company has grown very significantly in my generation. We're a family farm in the 1960s, and we're now a global wine business. And being able to bring skills and talents and wit to bear on the changing environment, the changing dynamics, and then to have a digital age and wonderful changes like that all thrown in, just creates an industry where you have to be alive and well and very dexterous, I suppose, in bringing very good people in to grow the business.